Welcome back to Be Productive. Whether we are a solopreneur or running a large organization, we are all leaders. What we want to do in this next segment is talk about some of the lessons that we can learn in leadership to help us work at a higher level of productivity, which also is going to set the stage for those that we work with. So, to help me with the conversation today, I am bringing on my friend, Rich Varrato. Rich, welcome to the show.
Hey, Carol, thank you so much for having me.
I have been so excited to talk with you and lead into this because you currently are in the insurance game. You run a really large, insurance company and it had great success. But before you got into insurance, you were a golf pro.
I spent 15 years as a golf professional.
I love that. And what really struck, my mind and I wanted to talk about as far as leadership is, to be a professional at any level, especially in the area of sports. We're talking about discipline. We're talking about vision. We're talking about time management. All of these things are critical in running a high performance company. So
Sure
talk
are.
a little bit from what are some of the lessons, you learned from being a golf pro that then you were able to transition as a leader in your industry?
Yeah, great question. And I get it often. I think that golf is a great analogy for life because in order to be good at golf, you need to be very self-aware of
Mhm.
where you're good and where you're weak. And in business, the same is true. You need to be very self-aware and aware of where your weaknesses are and where you need to improve. And golf is a great game because you can never perfect it. I believe that that business is the same. The same is true. You're always chasing something. You're always trying to improve every segment of your game. And in business, the economy is always changing. Um, our industry is constantly changing, and we need to have our ear to the ground. We need to be very self-aware and razor sharp on where we need to improve and how we can gain an advantage over our competitors.
Yeah. And it's easier said than done because I think, we create our plan, we create our vision, and then like you said, life happens. But isn't that the same in golf? You're all set ready to go and then it might rain or there might
Yeah.
be an alligator on the greens or something like that. So,
Yeah.
as a leader, how do you allow yourself but also again set the tone and model for your team? We still have these goals to accomplish, and we also need to pivot or adjust. How do you reconcile those two things?
Yeah, I think that being goal oriented, I think being again, I keep going back to being self-aware, but if you're aware of where you want to go and the roadmap that you need to follow, that's very important. I love listening to Kobe Bryant speak about how he got to where he was
Mhm.
in the game of basketball because he talked about being a teenager and being the worst kid on the team and how he never scored a point. And then he transitioned and committed himself fully to become this great basketball player. And by being going through the process to be an unbelievable basketball player, he innately became a wonderful leader of men because he was able to instill this, the same drive and ambition and work habits that you need to be successful in sports. And sports and business, the same exists. And so I try to have my Mamba mentality here at the office as well. I mean, in fact, I've got a painting in my office. The job's not finished. It's true in golf, right? It's true in business. The job is not finished. I mean, a client could be happy as heck with you and your performance day one. But it's 3 years down the road. Are they still as happy as they were when they made the switch to deal with you?
Yeah.
And if we're constantly improving, we're constantly have our ear to the ground and a temperature of how we're doing in the world and with our clients, we're going to do great things.
I love that. You brought up the term discipline, and I
Mm.
want to dive into that because, let's be honest, discipline is hard. We all want the end of the road. We all want the celebrations. We're not going
Yeah.
to get there without the disciplines.
Yeah.
So talk to me about as a leader, one, how do you stay disciplined for yourself? And then two, how do you empower, encourage, motivate your team to stay disciplined?
I have an obligation to be great for my clients,
Mhm.
right? They're not doing business with us at Magnolia because we showed up to work at 8:30, right? They do business with us because we are great. We say we're going to be great, and we constantly try every single day
Mhm.
to be great. So that's how I instill that mentality here at the agency with both our employees and with our clients. Is look, we're out there and we're very transparent. Like we want to be the best. We're not interested in being a provider. We're only interested in being the best provider.
Yeah. What I hear from you is something that was asked of me one time. If somebody once asked me, is motivation or discipline more important?
Ah,
For
not
me,
close.
yeah, for me, it's motivation because when I know the vision, when I know, I feel like you, I have an obligation. So the discipline is easy when I know my motivation. So
Yeah, it's an interesting way of looking at it.
how do you kind of communicate the vision to your team members so that they show up with that same mentality of obligation that you have?
I I think that I'm probably unique. Maybe not. Maybe your viewers um, can relate to me with this, but I'm so afraid of failing that all too often I find myself over prepared for
Mhm.
meetings. Right. Um, the fear of failure is real with me every day, and it doesn't matter, how successful that we are,
Mhm.
and how much we're told that that our clients are satisfied with us. I am so deathly afraid of a client calling us being unhappy. So we over prepare, and we're constantly asking our clients and ourselves, how can we be better?
Yeah. And I think that that also builds confidence because you know you're ready for anything. Throw it my way because we're over prepared in doing those. And one of the things I really appreciate that you talk about is you're doing this for the client. And when you
Yeah,
take care of the client will take care of the company.
yeah,
And, having that mentality that we are the best, not just so I can put that up on my wall or have that placard on my desk. You want to be the best for your people because if you
yeah,
take care of your people will in turn take care of you. And, in insurance, I know it's a big referral based game. So again, doing
sure.
these things is really, integral in keeping all that together. Now, do you have any specific routines that help you stay disciplined? I have like a morning routine. I do a weekly business planning. What are some of the maybe checks and balances that you put into play to help yourself stay with your discipline?
I write down my short-term goals every morning when I get to my desk, as well as my long-term goals, and I write them in the present tense.
Mhm.
So let's say, for example, I want to bring on 10 new employees, 10 new sales representatives. I'll say I hired 10 new producers, 10 world-class producers.
Mhm.
That's the way that I do my goals. And it makes it real when you think about it that way and when you write them down in that manner.
Yeah, fantastic. I love that. I do affirmations very similar to that.
Yeah.
And again, it
Yeah.
connects with the visualization. I love that. I want to talk a
That's
little
why you
bit.
are who you are.
Exactly, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about failure and how
Mm,
failure is a lesson that is actually a great lesson. And
yeah.
again, in sports, I would love to say that we win every time we're out there, but that just isn't always the case. So, from going, in golf, I'm assuming you didn't win every cup that you went after every match
Wouldn't
that
that
you
be
played.
nice?
So, how did that idea of sometimes not coming in first teach you humility,
Yeah.
perseverance, all of these things that you then were able to translate into success in business?
Yeah. Well, like the saying goes, there's no such thing as failure, only feedback. Right?
Mhm.
And so when you go through these trials and tribulations and things don't always go your way, and they're not going to in life, in sports or in business, how you bounce back is more important than sometimes what you did to get to where you are. Um, and that's why I think that kids playing sports is so wonderful because the kids are going to learn at a young age that there are going to be kids that are better than you, more prepared than you, and it just prepares them for what life is going to throw at them when they get to that age. So yeah, I mean, failure is I don't like it. No one that's competitive likes it, but
Mhm.
once you realize that it's a part of life and you need failure to make steps forward, you learn to accept it.
Absolutely. And like you said, it's feedback. So we can adjust,
Yeah,
adapt. That's how we are the best. Again, that's
yeah,
how we get to that level is by always looking. Even if we knock it out of the park, there's always
yeah,
room for improvement. So I love
yeah,
that. So
yeah.
let's talk a little bit about your company and highlight some of the great things that you do at Magnolia. Tell us a little bit about, what are the things that you focus on, your area of specialties, and how can people find you?
Yeah. So the Magnolia Agency is an agency, an insurance agency here in Essex, Connecticut. Beautiful Essex, Connecticut. If you're ever in the area or have the opportunity to come to Essex, please do so. But we are a insurance agency focused on construction, um, manufacturing, distribution, and we are a leader in captives. So this is something that's very passionate to us. We see massive opportunity here. On our side, we see as an opportunity to really help a company's bottom line by exploring a captive for their company. And really, really quickly, insurance companies make money two ways. One is underwriting profits, and the other is a float. So you pay premiums, that insurance company immediately invests that money and collects interest on that. When you're in a captive, you benefit both ways.
Hmm. Nice. Well, we'll definitely be learning more about that because that sounds extremely interesting.
Yeah.
And Rich, I just appreciate your time, looking at your mindset of, again, having your vision and letting your vision guide you, and knowing that your vision is partially in place to deliver excellence to the client. It's so powerful. And, that's a way where everybody can win as well. And again, role modeling that for your team allows all of you to level up. So I appreciate you sharing all of that. And I'm looking forward to our next conversation. And for those of you that are watching, get clear on your vision, get clear on why you are here and the idea of delivering excellence. Know that it's not about perfection, it's always striving for that perfection. It's striving to be the best and knowing that the game is never done. There'll always be room for improvement. So stay tuned because we'll be right back for more Be Productive.